Microphone. Microphone, there we go. Sorry about that. A little bit of a microphone issue there. Okay, so rating creators, how is everybody doing? I thought I would do a quick video today because there's some cool stuff going on. And now that the microphone's working, I can tell you about it. Schumann resonance. It's basically the resonance between the ionosphere and the Earth, and it's about 7 hertz or so, between 7 and 8 hertz. And in general, it gets a little perky sometimes, and sometimes you can feel that. Oftentimes, how the uh, space weather, coronal mass ejections, a lot of solar wind, a lot of things can affect it, but it also really has a mind of its own. And even when we're having solar storms, high KP index, a lot of radiation from the sun coming from coronal holes or CMEs, or there's solar wind. A lot of things can affect it. Of course, our magnetosphere can be affected. It has kind of a mind of its own also. But in general, space weather affects us. And ever since the last couple of years, the Schumann resonance has been very interesting. In general, it's always just kind of been a flat line, right about 7 point something hertz. And last couple of years, it just gets crazy. Now, people have a lot of conjecture as to why, but I tend to take a little bit of a spiritual edge to it and think that it's just a higher octave of truth, which is hitting the earth plane right now, which the earth plane is resonating with. And you might find that many people um, are going to more fundamental beliefs, so that they're beginning to sort of just want to believe old storylines, and they're kind of retreating to safety. But it seems that either you're digging this higher octave of truth and you're seeing life through an incredible awakening process, and it's just really glorious, or you'll find that maybe people are falling away in your life because they're going, well, I need to just go and hide in some belief system that other people share and is very mundane, and where I can feel safe. So the pioneers that are digging the higher octave of truth, I think something marvelous happened today. So if we look at the Schumann resonance now, in general, it looks like what you see over here. And I'm going to zoom in, yeah, a little bit. Now, in general, the Schumann resonance, it looks like what you see over here. And right now, there's a slight break in the action. And look at this pattern that we're seeing. Usually, it would look just like it does over here on the left, maybe a little bit, a little bit of white in there showing extreme frequency. But in general, this line right about here, around 7 hertz, that's about where it should be most of the time. And you'll see a little bit of green there, and that just means things are working. Last couple of years, that's changed. Now you see these other green lines here, parallel lines. They're octaves of the Schumann resonance, and that's natural to happen, but it's also somewhat new. Now, if we look at the amplitude here, let me go over here. See, refresh this, and I mean, the power being 185 is insane. So if we look here, you can see, for some reason, it's showing me this copyright thing. Let's see if I can get this to look a little better. Okay, there we go. Now, as you can see on the left, that's what we're used to seeing. Here on the right, all of a sudden we're seeing these really powerful white. You can see the little white parallel lines there. That's extreme frequency within that range, within that octave. And so we're seeing about every 1,000 hertz, starting about like a little below like 4, like 3.5, like 4.5, then 8.5. This really unique harmonic pattern, which is a little bit out of sync with what would be more common when the Schumann resonance is kind of spiking, which is on the left. So we had a break in the action. The charts were down. That does happen, and it comes back online, and we're seeing slightly out of sync harmonic resonance. And then if we look at these incredible patterns that we're seeing, and that's absolutely uncommon. Ain't never seen that. And if we look at the amplitude here, it went off the charts like 185. Doesn't matter if that means anything to you or not. It just means that there's a lot of power in the Schumann resonance right now. So we're seeing some wild stuff. And if we zoom in on this, I'm going to zoom in right here where it's easy. This is, if you look at that, that is like a cymatic pattern that we're seeing. And people are noticing it. It's all over Twitter. You can tell that for sure. Well, even if the monitor is broken, I'm just going to go out on the intuitive edge here and say, even if the monitoring is broken and that's why this is happening, which very well could be the case, um, this is a very powerful cymatic pattern. You can see the cymatic nature of it. So That's when you have like a speaker and you put sand on it and you play different notes and you see the cymatic patterns that are formed. This to me is like a somewhat linear, of course, cymatic pattern within a new kind of offset octave range for the Schumann. So this is just crazy. And you can look at a lot of these little patterns like this one and that one. This cool pattern here looks like the Masonic pattern. Anyway, this is just far out. This is amazing. This is not common. Even if the monitoring is broken, I think people are feeling it and they're realizing that this means something. To me, I was kind of worn out this morning. Then I'm starting to feel kind of very energetic right now. It feels exciting. I kind of have this like angelic feeling of download. And I think that what this is, just going to go way out there. Why not? It's like I say, I think the Earth plane or Earth has been getting last couple of years, maybe even longer, but a higher octave of truth. Like I say, you're going to find that some people are getting supercharged by it because it truly is the pioneering spiritual awakening individual who's seeing through a lot of the silly narratives that we have that are very dense and given to us. And now we're seeing, like I say, people who can't deal with that, like the higher resonance, higher octave of truth. They go, I can't deal with that, so they go and they'll usually go find some fundamentalist belief pattern. Let's say they get into real scientific, dogmatic beliefs. I don't want to throw anything out there in particular. I don't want to give anybody any specific group a hard time. But I'm just saying a strong fundamentalist view, and it can be scientific. It could even be fundamentally, fundamental religion. They're getting very like religiously rigid, rather than the spirit of scripture. They're taking it as like the word as pure history and things like this. Seeing a lot of people retreat away from this new higher octave of truth, which is here on the earth plane, and they're comfortable. They go, I'm going to hang out here. And then the people who are up to the new challenge saying, I'm going to hang out here. It's like the love train and the fear train. They're leaving the station in opposite directions. And so to me, no matter what this is, even if the monitoring is broken, to me, what I feel intuitively as a real download is that this is saying, hey, those who are on that higher octave of truth, this is a message. It's straight up, it's getting downloaded, encoded into the earth plane, into our resonance, into us, because we are the Schumann resonance. It's part of how our brain works. If you take the humans away from the earth, they found that the Russians, the Americans both found different things. The Russians kind of found that, it tends to cause enlightenment when you get free of the Schumann resonance. And then also you start to kind of lose your mind a little bit. That's why the space station, the International Space Station, has a Schumann resonance generator, and so do the Apollo missions, and so does the when it was around the space shuttle, because we need this resonance. So when it begins to change and do crazy things like this, these cymatic patterns are being downloaded to us. And like I say, even if it ends up being the monitoring is broken, doesn't matter. It's speaking to me. I think it's speaking to many people. And I'm just going to say, for the fun of it, it's just a sign. It's coming down that the higher octave of truth is here, and dig it. It's like, imagine a big nod from the universe saying, hey there, truth seekers. You're not crazy. And as a matter of fact, look at these amazing patterns that are being downloaded. And that's why you're seeing so much division on the planet right now, because there's those who get it and those who don't. And there you go. So just be a loving presence. Allow this to flow through you and have a good time. If you look at Twitter, it is just all over the place. People are talking about it. They have a lot of different takes on it. There's so much info out there, like the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is Earth's natural vibration frequency. We need it. Some people say it's being cut off to us through things like, those chemtrails and other things like that, and 5G, and you name it. People will say, oh, it's being cut off from us. And it very well could be. I mean, look at this pattern. Is that not the most beautiful thing? I mean, this to me is very, very, very meaningful. It speaks to me. Does it speak to you? I almost can like read this. It tells me something. So with that said, I thought I'd just come on and rant like a crazy person, just because if anybody wondered, is Greg nuts? Well, hopefully I'm proving that to you right now. So with that said, take care. It's Father's Day. Have a great Father's Day. There's amazing, crazy stuff happening in the universe. It's very, very clear. You can see it. I mean, there it is. And, Take care. Look at the show notes if you like. Lots of links to interesting things there. Check out the Radiant Creators podcast, radiantcreators.com. We interview inspiring people to inspire others. Got some great stuff for you. Take care, and I will see you soon. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Take care.